Okay, so today we're going to go through some different tools to be successful working remote. And I kind of broke it down into two sections. So we're going to go through tools that cover different topics and tools that I use or have tried out, and some other tools that I haven't, but I'll kind of give into examples of how certain things work and at least how I use them. And if you have questions throughout, feel free to ask them. And then the second half, we're going to go into how to market to customers while you're rather closed or just in the off season when customers aren't here. Okay. Nope. Great. Okay. So 75% of remote workers said they are more productive because of fewer distractions, while 74% attributed it to fewer interruptions from colleagues. And 40% of workers would be willing to take on a greater workload if it meant greater flexibility, while 18% would take a pay cut for the opportunity. There's just a ton of facts around remote working out there and some different statistics. So I thought I'd throw a few in here. So working remote, we have planning and project management tools here. These basically to assist with your team, or if it's just you, in making sure everything's organized and that things are getting done and tasks are being assigned properly. I've tried a few of these different ones. There's Asana, Monday.com, ClickUp, Trello, Todoist, Task, Google Calendar, Google Sheets, and Excel. You can rather use one or you can use a combination of them. I personally love Asana, and I've loved Todoist as well. Asana is great because it links with a bunch of different things. It links with various time management. It links with your Google Calendar, and I've used it where you link to Google Sheets or Google documents so that you can edit as a team and still also keep it all in the same place. Trello is also great. It's a board setup. So there's various boards across your screen and different, and you kind of set up however you want that's easiest for you. Monday.com, ClickUp, and Asana all have different options. So you can create a project. And then after that project's created, you can rather have it set up as a calendar, you can add it as timeline, you can do it as lists or boards or anything like that. It gives you the option to change it up. You can also use multiple different, layouts in the same project. So for Asana, I could do a schedule for social media, for instance, and I could have a board set up each for like Instagram, Facebook. If we're doing special spotlights, like we're doing spotlights this month for Black History Month and next month for Women's. So those can all have their own boards, but then I can schedule them onto a calendar and view it rather as a calendar or as the individual boards. Does anyone have questions on these project and planning management tools?
Can you just clarify what you mean by board? Like
yes.
In terms of how it's integrated?
Yeah, so pretty much they're laid out in columns, and then you can set up individual tasks or like clips on each of those columns. And then when you click on one of those little squares, it takes you and you can fill out a description, put a time, you can assign it to different people. And then you can also set up subtasks inside of those little boards. Does that explain that?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I understood that. I guess I was confused if the boards are then integrated into the calendar. That's fine.
Yeah. So for that, you can set the dates into each of the different tasks. So if you're viewing it as a board, it'll show you the dates that you have set for them, but then you can do, you can switch it to then a calendar view, and you can view the task by the date.
Got it.
Great.
Thank you.
Marina.
Yes.
Are any of these really good for like working with your peers as well? And how is that process of introducing others to these software tools been in your experience?
Yeah, so like I said, Asana is the main one that I use. I found it really easy to work with other people in it, especially if you have like the main project person who's in charge of like assigning tasks and whatnot, because you can go into each of the individual tasks that you create and assign them to whoever's available in that project. You can also create sections. So I have one for like chamber social media, and then I have one for like other chamber marketing, and I can share that specific project with certain people, but they can't see other projects unless I share it with them as well. And then I can assign it so If, for instance, Shanta is making all of these posts for Black History Month for our member spotlights, I can go ahead and create the overall category and then assign her the different ones that she just goes in and fills out. And then we assign them to different dates.
Thanks for explaining that.
Yeah. I've also used it for, in my business, I've also used it for different projects as well, like website updates or things like that. So if I need, for instance, my employee to fill out some information about herself or hours or things like that, I've used it as a calendar for her to track stuff or for me to keep track of what she's doing too. And so these are some different communication tools. There are so many out there, but here's some of the top ones that I've used or I've really used through people sending me links to use them. For instance, like Microsoft Teams. I personally never had a meeting that I've created through Microsoft Teams, but I've had different companies for proposals send that link to me. Google Hangout is one of my favorites because it does link directly to your calendar. So you just, if you use Gmail and Google Calendar, it all will just go into there. And when you click on the meeting, you can just say use Google Hangout, sorry. Use Google Hangout and it'll just automatically be in there every single time you create an event with someone. Zoom is what we're using now. It has a lot of different features. Like obviously we can share a screen, which you can do in most of them, but we can record, you can do different people as hosts, different things like that. There's also obviously different timeframes allowed for the free versus paid version. Other ones are GoToMeeting, Skype, which has been around forever. Then we have Slack, which is one of my favorite tools, especially if you work on a team. So for Slack, you create different channels. So for instance, the chamber, we have one for Daffodil, we have one for Stroll, we have one for chamber members, different things like that. And so everything stays organized in those. You can also direct message people. So basically it's like an instant messenger, but more organized. And you can connect those to things like Google Calendar, your Gmail. So I can send people emails that I get through Slack to them saying like, hey, can you handle this or things like that. And I also know a lot of companies, they'll do like membership options and allow Slack so that anyone can kind of ask questions or doing that. It's a benefit of being a member of their programs. And then we have things like Calendly. I know there's a few other like it, but it makes it easier for creating meetings. You set your schedule and then you can also link it to your Google Calendar so it knows when you are free, and it will also add meetings to your calendar for you. But that way you just send a link to someone and then they can go in and pick the time that works for them based off of the schedule that you provide. And it kind of just does it automatic for you. Google Calendar, I know I talk about it a lot. Ring Central, that's been really great for us. We use that for our phone system, but it's nice because it's also an app on your phone. So it comes straight through to your cell phone, no matter where you are. You can access any of the information, and it also links through to your cellular. So you don't have to, if you want to just view it all on your phone, you can. You don't have to go directly into the app. Do we have questions on communication tools? Also, this link, I'm going to send it out after, probably with all these slides, and it just has a bunch of different ways that Google promotes different ways for collaborating, how to use it for learning or teaching or working remote, different things like that. So sharing tools, these are just four of the main ones. So Google Drive, I also call it a shared drive, Dropbox, iCloud, and OneDrive. They all have different features that are great. iCloud, obviously, to automatically save everything from if you have a Mac or an iPhone, you can back up everything automatically. Google Drive, it links with your Gmail, it links with your Google Calendar, all of that stuff. And then you can also create different folders that are shared if you have a Google Suite, so Business Suite. So I can create a folder for membership and a folder for marketing and a folder for events. And then that way, anyone who needs on your team that needs to be in a specific folder, you can add them to it and they have access to everything. And then they also can go in and make edits as well. And then OneDrive is just similar to, it's Doesn't have as many features as everything, but it's like a basic storage. And then Dropbox is another favorite. It's really good if you do a lot of photography or really large files. It holds a lot and is easier for people to organize through that one. Questions on these sharing tools? So these are some time management tools that I've done. So Harvest is one. It does link directly with Asana, I found out recently. And basically what it is that you can set up some different projects. And then if you have employees that like clock in and clock out, or if they just mark like I worked 15 minutes on this project, an hour on this project, they can log it that way. And then you get emails of rather daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you want, of how much time was spent on each project that was logged. And then from there, you can also have it set up with Asana, so it'll assign to which boards and tasks that you want it to. Toggle is just another one for people to keep track of time. They can rather do, I spent 15 minutes on it, or you can click the start now and then end it when you're finally done, and it'll just record it for you. And then Asana, Trello, Monday.com, all of those planning tools have different uses, such as you can use them for time management tools. Like I said, for an employee, you can go in and use the calendar feature and they can log what they worked on each day, like that. Questions on this? So these are just some other tools that are pretty helpful, like LastPass. It keeps all of your passwords saved, so you can, it's a password protected password saver, and it can go on your computer, similar to if you have an iPhone or a computer, you can save your password to automatically fill. But this one is you can set it up all yourself, so you can organize it how you want. It doesn't automatically fill unless you want it to. You can also just log in and view the passwords if you need to. There's different workflow automation softwares out there. A lot of different management tools also offer that in their system. There's one called Honeybook that is a project management tool. It's really good for like photographers and stuff like that, or anything if you have project-based. But from there, it allows you to create workflows that'll automatically go out. So if you book a project, then it'll send out an email, it'll follow up that email, send out a questionnaire. Basically, once you start the workflow, it'll automatically do everything for you. Online accounting software, all digital, things like QuickBooks. I think there's FreshBooks. There's a ton of different things out there. Honeybook, like I mentioned, they do their own in their software as well. Facebook groups are also a big thing. They really help you stay connected, even if it's a Facebook group for your team. So you can post updates in that, and you can make it as private or as public as you want. Okay. So Google Suite and Google for Business. So I'm a big fan of Google. Google Suite, they have kind of a little bit of everything in there. And if you have a big team or it's just like you or one other person, you can get your email set up. So it's a professional email, like at nantucketchamber.org. And then it all connects to each other. Google Drive storage, as I mentioned, they do like the shared drives, or you can have your individual drive that the whole team can't see. Google Hangout, it all links together with your Google Calendar. Google My Business, so that's really important for any business to have, whether or not you have an address or not. So what it is when you Google any business, so if you typed in Nantucket Chamber, what'll come up on the side is a little business listing. Almost every business has the listing, whether or not you own it. If no one owns it, it does say, do you own this business? And you can just click on it and you can set it up. It allows you to know how many people see your business name, how many people click on your site, what they're searching for, that'll come up, that your business will come up under. So if someone was searching, we get a lot like Visit Nantucket, or like if someone's searching Nantucket Daffodil Festival, people search for banks on Nantucket or things like that, and it'll take them to our pages or our different members. So we show up under a lot of random categories, but that's because we have a lot of different keywords on our page, and it really helps with your search engine optimization as well. My favorite thing about them is that they do send you a monthly update to your email, just kind of giving you a rundown of everything. So you don't have to actually like log in and look into every single detail. It tells you the most important stuff. Do we have any questions on this? Nope.
I do.
Okay. I saw an emoji hand raise, and I've never seen that before. So
That would be me. So for the Google My Business, how would you gain access to that as, let's say for myself as a small business owner, and I want to have access to all those wonderful things you mentioned? How do I then, how do I get it for my own? For my own.
So all you have to do is Google your business name, and usually it will appear on the side as a little like its own column with all the information that Google has compiled based off of its knowledge and what it can pull up. And then from there, it'll go down and it'll say, do you have any updates for this business? So if I'm, for instance, if I know that your store is closed for the season, I can go in and say they're no longer open. They need to show that they're closed. And then it'll review it. And if they think it's true, they'll do it. If not, then they'll just leave it as is. And then next to that, it says, do you own this business? It'll only say that if no one else has claimed it. And then you just click on it and it'll step you through setting up the entire account. They make it really easy. And you can also, if you have multiple locations, for instance, you can have it set up so that you can manage all of them in the same place. You can also make posts and things like that, which help with people finding your business and showing that you're just updating everyone. Also, if you have a store location, it does send you an email just saying, like if there's a holiday coming up, like New Year's, Christmas, that type of things, it'll say, hey, these holidays are coming up. Are your hours the same? Will anything be changing? Right now they have COVID updates too. So like, what precautions are you taking? So they kind of help you stay up to date as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions on this? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so video conferencing, I just put this in here in case there were some questions on them. I know that each tool has a lot behind it. Then they all can be difficult and have features that you don't know exist. Like Zoom, we did Zoom for our Santas, for our Santa, Zooming with Santa. And it was nice because you can set up your image. So we had like the different logos. And then we set up, so we were the host, but Santa had his own video screen going on. So it's just different things that you can play around with. And it kind of has a lot of different needs it can fill. Any questions on that? Okay. So going into digital communications, there is a lot of different options out there. I'm gonna just highlight some of them. A big one is email. So we send out our newsletters, we'll do out individual emails if you're having sales or promotions, and basically just staying in touch with your customers while they're not there, whether it's on Nantucket or your business is closed or anything like that. You can kind of keep them up to date with everything that's going on. Social media. So you have so many different types of social media out there, and basically don't spend all your time trying to be on all of them. Pick the ones where your audience and your demographic is and focus on those. We don't want to waste time. Google My Business, search results. You can also place Google ads, things like that. And then your website. It's really important to have a website to direct people to. It's where you can provide the most accurate information. Make sure it's mobile friendly, especially if you're on things like Instagram or any type of social media, because people link from that to your website. So you want to make sure that they can see all the information and it looks as pretty as you want it to be. So just some social media platforms, again, websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. So big thing I emphasize in this is the social networking part. Basically, social media was created to make connections, relate to people, inspire, help, support, and not just sell your product. And every business has different social media needs. A big one I tend to tell people is to have a Facebook page and an Instagram if you're not sure where to start. Obviously, it all depends on what you're actually selling, like photographers or Services, if you have a blog, things like that, you can do Pinterest. If you have a lot of updates like Highline, for instance, when boats cancel or there's different things changing, having things like a Twitter account would be good. If you're really focused on reaching professionals, LinkedIn is a really great tool. But they all have their own place, and you shouldn't be wasting your time if you don't think it's reaching the right audience. Does anyone have any questions on just kind of the overall platforms, or any questions on social media in general with reaching people? Okay. So now into email. So email is one of the best tools to use for digital marketing. I'm going to go through into a bunch of different benefits of it and how to use it. So a big thing for email is that it's people letting you into their inbox. They want to know more about your business. They want the discount you're offering. They want to get those updates because they care about what you're doing. And also how many people have actually signed up for an email and then get spammed, and then you end up unsubscribing right away. Like, you don't want to abuse letting people into your, or letting people letting you into their inbox. So you don't want to waste that opportunity. And then when people sign up, they want to hear from you and get the updates of your services and products. So once they sign up, don't just leave them to never hear from you again, or like 6 months from now, like during your off season when you're slow. Like, it's something that you should be maintaining, even if it's just a monthly check-in. And it also gives you an idea of what people are most interested in. So if you're sending an email and let's say you list out 3 different things, topics, all relevant to your business, you can see what people are clicking on. You can see where they spend the most time looking. It does depend on what social media, which email platform you're using. So there's different things like Constant Contact, there's MailChimp, there's Flowdesk, there's about 1,000 out there, all with different benefits, all at different price points with different things you get for each price point. And then a fun fact is that your message is 5 times more likely to be read when it's shared as an email versus a Facebook or Instagram post. But a big thing for email is focusing on 3 main things, which is you want to focus all your efforts. Focusing all of your efforts on social media isn't maximizing your time. Less than 6% of your followers actually see your posts. It's a super powerful tool, but email actually allows you to deliver straight to their inbox and straight to them. And then 2, you want to build something that you own. So you don't own your followers on social media. Like, they're great to have, and it's a really great communication and marketing tool. But with a subscriber list, they're yours until they decide not to be, like if they unsubscribe, but you own that list. There's nothing that anyone can do. Like, if Facebook or Instagram stopped tomorrow, you'd lose every single person you were contacting, where you still have your email. Email's not going anywhere. And then it is critical for you to have a place where you know you can reach your clients with critical and timely information, because it can be hard to get through to people on social media. Email allows you, specifically like with COVID, if you're closed or you're reopening, you can send that directly to them, and you know that it's being delivered to their inbox and they're getting it. When you post to social media, there is a chance that not everyone who follows you and wants those updates is going to see it. So here's just another list of benefits of building an email list. So you get your messages easily to your customers. You get visitors to return to your site. It's a follow-up from them. Even if they signed up to get a discount, there's a good chance that they'll then rebuy after that discount, because you stay in touch and they'll see things that they like and want to come back. Email is personal. It helps you build an intimate relationship with users and customers. Huge companies love email lists. It's one of the best ways, because it's one of the best ways to reach all your customers. And like I said before, you own your email list. It helps you a lot to make more money, because you can direct it to the people who are actually purchasing from you or interested. It's not just, it's a very targeted thing. You can also target down further. So if you send out 3 different types of emails, let's say a promotional email sales, you send out just a checking in email, and then you send out a email about jobs, for instance. when people click on those things, you can notice that and tag it so that you can then direct further emails down the line to those specific tags on those accounts. And then email builds trust, and trust is important. You want them to keep letting you back into their inbox, and it allows you to also build brand trust. So they trust what you're sending them. They trust that you're not trying to rip them off and everything you're doing is real. It's not some spam account. So users prefer email to other media for businesses because it's delivered directly to them. Email is targeted, like I said, it's not going anywhere, and it converts more subscribers into customers than a lot of other digital marketing does. Does anyone have any questions on the benefits of email marketing before I kind of go into how to create an email campaign and the important things about them? Okay. So creating an email campaign, couple things that you need to look at is the subject of the email. That's the main thing that gets people to open it. So it's really important that you put a little bit of time into thinking into your subject line. Customers, you want to know who you're sending it to. Like I said, the targeting is important. It's not mandatory, and it's you don't always have to target. It could go to everyone who's subscribed to you because they're just interested in your business. But looking at who actually you're sending it to helps you better form that email to them. Strategies and goals. So what is the goal of your email? When you think about that, it helps you really create a campaign that allows you to do a follow-up. So if the goal is that you want them to make a purchase. So for instance, if they left something in their cart, you could send an email saying, hey, you left something in your cart, don't forget to check out. And let's say that they don't, they open it, but they don't do anything about it. A couple days later, you can send another email saying, hey, you still have it in your cart. Here's a discount if you want to purchase it now. And then from there, you can do a follow-up. Let's say they go on and they make a purchase. You can follow up being like, hey, we're so happy you made your purchase. Leave us a review, or here's another discount code, or you can share this with your friends or things like that. Having that strategy and knowing your goals of it allows you to create those automated next steps. And you can also create those all at the same time. That falls under funnel creation. So once again, is it that one-time email? Is it going to be a series of different emails? A lot of people do freebies, like digital freebies, like whether it's like a ebook or a how-to or a cheat sheet, things like that. And a big thing with that is you get their email when you give them the free product. And then from there, you know what they're interested in. So you know what to follow up with that'll eventually lead to a purchase from that free product. Any questions on email campaigns? Okay, so tips for keeping customers up to date with social media. So these are some different places that you should be updating that people will go looking for. Your bio. Make sure it includes what you sell, who you are, if you're open. You can also use different keywords that allows you to be found easier. And then your posts. Usually I suggest people posting 3 times a week. If you're not open, you may not have that much to post, but still keeping people engaged is important. If you are open, letting people know, especially on Nantucket, I know it's a big thing with restaurants too, is that just saying, hey, we're open today. Here are our hours for the day. Here are our specials. Here's what's going on. Just letting people know that you are open and you want people to come. And then you can share those across all of your platforms. So work smarter, not harder. So with Instagram, when you click publish, you have the option, you can share it to Facebook, Twitter, and a bunch of other platforms as well. You can also do schedulers that allow you to plan it all out in advance, and then you can just kind of set it, and I hate the word set it and forget it, but pretty much that you just want to go back in and make sure it's all going as planned. So with that, you can allow it to, for our Love Local giveaways that we just did, we were able to schedule them out for the 5 days. And then from there, I'd go in and be like, here's the Instagram post, it's all set. Then I go in the Facebook and I would edit it to say, go to our Instagram for this giveaway and put our link to our Instagram. And that way they're a little bit different, but you're not worried about putting out the wrong information. And you can still do it all in advance as long as you're monitoring when it's going out. You can also, if you don't want to use a scheduler. Most of them cost money to use. You can still create all your posts in advance. Like I said, I use Asana for mine, and I'll create that calendar and just pre-make like a month's worth of posts. You can do them in the description. You can tag them. This is going on Instagram, this is going on Facebook, things like that. And then from there, you can set reminders. So it'll go to your email, or you can set it to your phone to remind you that you have a post you want to put out. So that morning you'll know, and you can go in and you can just do it yourself. And then just some things to note too, create a strategy. You don't want to just be putting up random posts the second you think about it. If you have weekly specials, you can post those twice a week. You can share them to your stories. You can create everything in advance and just kind of knowing what you're doing. You don't want to just sell, and sell. People aren't following you just to know your product. They want to get to know your business and your brand. You want to inspire, educate, build trust, and then sell to them. So different posts, like specifically Nantucket. Nantucket is its own brand. Just using the word Nantucket, people are interested in what you're doing. So you can use that to your advantage. If you posted a nice photo of Nantucket or even a picture of your storefront, just sharing the island or sharing why it relates to your business or things like that. That's building a new trust with your customer, not just saying, hey, we sell this product, here's what it does. You want to include call to actions on your posts. So basically you want to tell people what you want them to do. You shouldn't just assume that they know what to do. If you want them to like your post or share it or go to the link in your bio to purchase something, or if you have 10,000 followers, you can swipe up on a story. You want to tell them what to do so that you're actually getting the conversions you're looking for. And then showing up. People love faces. They love to see people. They tend to perform better. So try and bring in, whether it's you as the owner and spotlighting yourself and just, or your employees and showing like, here's a daily life at our store, things like that. You can also create templates, whether it's for the caption or if it's for the design itself. And this way you can just go in and you can add in different photos to your posts, or if you do like a weekly post on a different product, you can have it kind of pre-written and then input the information that's important that changes up. Or if you're doing like we're doing a Black History Month spotlight for different businesses. So we kind of have the main idea set up and then we're just filling it in with the right information each time. And that'll help you save time. And also if you are running behind and you didn't have a bunch of posts, it allows you to be able to just create one right then and there. For templates too, as a tool, I usually use Canva. That's a good one. They have a free and a paid version, and the free one works just as fine as the paid one. The paid one has some different options you can pick from, but overall, the free version works just as well. And you can create different templates or graphics or anything for social media, email, your website, all of that stuff. And so does anyone have any questions on this stuff so far? Okay. So don't waste your time and repurpose your content. So like I said before, you can post Instagram and share it to your Facebook page or your Twitter, things like that. You can also turn it to an email and send it to your email list, post it into your Instagram group. Usually the same content can be used multiple ways. If you create a blog post, you can put it on your website, send out an email telling people about it. You can then post that to your Instagram and your Facebook, and it saves you time and energy, especially if that's what you're really worried about. And then update your website, send an email, post to social. You can upload it to the Chambers page. So if you're having an event, things like that. And like I said, I don't think you should be posting the same exact thing across all platforms with nothing else that separates them. But if you're worried about time or energy, that's perfectly fine to do if it's also just updates. So here are the specials for the week. Here are the sale that's going on, things like that. Make sure you update it though. So for instance, in Instagram, you have to send people to your bio if they want to click on a link, where on Facebook, you can have a link in the caption and just click on it right then and there. So you want to make sure that that's added. Templates, like I said, specials, events, you can make them all look the same, or even you could switch them up and make a few different ones and then just fill it in. Does anyone have questions on social media before I move into some chamber resources? Okay, so digital chamber resources. Every single member gets a web page. Enhanced members can add photos, their logo, different links. They can add videos. They get pushed higher on our directory listing. But overall, you can still do a lot with your description. You can have your hours updated. That goes into our app as well, our visit widget app and interactive map. So you want to make sure that information is correct. And then you also can add different links to your page. So if you have you want people to know about you, you can do that as a specific link on your page. Then you can do a link to your social media, or if you have a sales page, or if you have like a gallery of images you want to send people to, you can do all that. Backlinks. So what that is that when you can put those links on our site, it helps your website with its search engine optimization. It shows that you are an authoritative website, so that people, when we send people from our site to yours, it shows that that your website is actually useful, so that it allows you to be searched better. Google puts you as a higher ranking. So an events calendar too we have, which you can also add website links to, but you can utilize that whether it's for sales and promotions, or it's for a specific event, virtual, in person. We also have our hot deals page, so you can also do that if you have a sale or promotion. If you have a press release, even if it's a press release saying that you're open, you can update that to our website. It will link under your page if you do it through your login. For all of this, it'll show up on your webpage. And then it also will get automatically shared to social media. We also have a job board available. So that's a good tool, especially as we get into the spring, because obviously people are gonna be looking for hiring as they start to open again. So, and then kind of just an overview of things that you should be updating throughout the winter, whether or not you're open or not. So your website, if you're closed, let people know you're closed. If you know when you'll be opening, put that in there. Get people excited about you reopening. If you are open or you have a product you're selling in different places, make sure it has all the list of where they can get your product or find you. Make sure it has like your services, any specials, you can update it all right on your website. You want that to be the most up to date, because when people are looking for information about you, they usually Google you and then you get taken to their website. Make sure you update your chamber webpage. You don't want people getting the wrong information, and we'd hate to send them the wrong information. Your email subscriber list, make sure that's consistently being updated. If you have time and you realize there's a ton of people who rather have like spammy emails, or they have, if they have, they just don't open any emails, you can always remove them from your list too, to help you with your rates. And then also just make sure that when you have updates, so we're going to open on April 16th, for instance, you can send out an email letting them know, even now, and then close to the date, you can send another one just saying, hey, here's what you have to look forward to when we open on this date. Update across your social media accounts, keep people engaged and interested. Google My Business, as we talked about before, you can update your hours. They'll even ask you for specific holidays what to, if you have any updates. You can also create posts which help people find you, and just another place to keep people updated when they're searching for you. Does anyone have any questions on any of this? This is pretty much the last, and I have a few fun stats that I just shared, but. Okay. Well, so just some fun stats on working remotely. 73% of employees work outside their work hours as they find themselves more productive. 49% of remote workers have worked between 1 and 5 years in their jobs. 21% work 6 to 10, and 22% have worked for more than 10 years. 24% of remote workers reported feeling happier and more productive at their jobs compared to on-site workers. Also, all these stats are from pre-COVID, so we know that a lot more people are working remote right now. And then I wasn't planning on going into some different tips on being more productive while working at home, because every single person's different. For instance, a lot of people say to set up a specific space I don't have that. I work anywhere from my bed to my living room to my couch to someone else's house. But making sure that you have all the tools to be successful is important, whether you are moving or you're in the same exact space, like your chargers, if you have a planner, if you have different filing that you need to go through for like invoicing or things like that, making sure you have everything you need at all times is important. Okay, any questions? Okay, well, that's all I have for today. I will be sending out.
Maureen, I had
yes.
a quick question I posted. Can you just clarify about the backlinks? Is that something that we manually we do through your website, or you do? How does that work?
So a backlink is anywhere that your website is linked to. So when you go into your chamber page to update anything to go on your web page, just making sure that your website is listed there is just important. And then you can add different links as well that can go to the different pages on your website. And you can pick and choose what that is. And pretty much even if it's not the chamber page, let's say you wrote a feature on a blog that gets linked back to your page, that helps build how reliable that your web page is and how reliable you are, showing Google that you're authoritative and that they should be showing it to people with similar search queries.
Along with just showing putting our website on the chamber, do we have to then dive down into like a particular link of our website?
Nope. So as long as you have your website on, it really helps with just backlinking. And then you have the option to add additional links. A good example of a chamber member who has the link set up really well is Bartlett's Farm. And it just allows you to do like a bullet of important things. You could even link it to, if you have different locations, you could link it to, if you have a COVID update, you could link it to your Facebook page, or if you have a Facebook group, things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Well, if anyone thinks of questions after this too, feel free to reach out to me. And I can answer anything I can help with. If you need to hop on a call and talk anything through too, just let me know.
Thanks, Marina.
Yeah, thank you all for coming.
Thanks,
Thank
Marina.
you, everyone.